Good afternoon. I'm calling this meeting to order. Welcome to the Sedro Woolley Rotary Club, the best Rotary Club in the... We'll start the meeting with an invocation, which will be with our President-elect, Lynn Tucker.
All right. Let us be thankful for our friends, food, and fellowship, especially the fellowship of Rotary. Let us be mindful of the needs of others and our calling in Rotary. As we reflect on our blessings, let's remember to show compassion, share our talents, and appreciate the beauty around us. Let's open our hearts and spread love and kindness. And this little invocation seems appropriate today as it is a pretty day and nice day, and it's not pouring on our heads. Amen.
All right, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And please join in the four-way test, which is right over here. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And today's song is with Chris Schaffner, who is completely prepared. All right. Yankee Doodle. Excellent. Yankee Doodle went to town, all right. Stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni. And you may be seated. Yes, excellent. I love that the muttering all started at once. All right. Do we have any visiting Rotarians today? Louis Rique. Whoop, whoop.
We have with us today Bernie Holiday from Burlington Club, Morning Club.
Welcome, Bernie. Can we have the mic over here for our program, who's also going to introduce a guest that he brought with him?
Thank you. David Lukov, past district governor and a member of the Mount Vernon Rotary Club. And I want to introduce Daniil Mullen, who is with the Rotary Club of Lukov and was part of the friendship exchange we had in Hungary. Do you want to introduce my other guests since we're at it?
Sure. We'll go right into visitors.
I want you to meet maybe a prospective member. She came to explore Rotary. This is Ronnie Ehalt, and she's from Sedro Woolley. So whoever membership chair is, go meet her. And then my final guest, special guest, this is my wife, Mary. 45 years ago, when I traveled to Rockingham, North Carolina, and was invited to a Rotary Club meeting, she was the pianist. Only female in the room, but that's how I met Mary. Her dad was a member of the club. So please welcome Mary to Sedro Woolley.
All right. Do we have any other visitors? Oh,
I have with me Niall right there. And I went to sit with them and they kicked me out of that table. So I'm with this group here. Anyway, Niall Thomas, he should know that he's fixing part of the picnic shelter. And I've been watching it and, giving him some pointers on the chainsaw carving. But he's chainsaw carving the rotary wheel. And that is not easy to do. And so I counted how many spokes, make sure he had it right and everything. But welcome, Niall.
welcome, Niall.
I'd like to introduce Tiffany Boggs. She's here. Happens, small county happens to be a connection. My wife 2 years ago was following in the footsteps of Diane Crawford with auctions, bid early and bid often. And we actually ended up with a nice weekend trip to Suncadia at Tiffany's place, which apparently she no longer has. But it was a fun time.
Welcome, Tiffany.
I have Dr. Marcy Mullen with me and Ashley. They just opened up Sterling Veterinary a few weeks ago. Sterling, right? And they actually both probably know several people are here because Ashley is from Anacortes originally, and Marcy was a Lyman Elementary graduate. So
Yeah.
they reached out wanting to support our auction and wanting to get more information on the club. So
Welcome.
Welcome. Was Mark Nielsen your principal out there, or is that too long ago? Mark was the principal at Lyman for a while there. No.
You know, I remember writing a story in the Courier Times and talking to Marcy when she was in high school. It was a few years back. So cross country, she was quite the runner.
So I got Henry with me and Henry Janicki, and I just want to know it's not that easy to get somebody to dress in the same kind of style that I dress in to come here. And so Henry is Rob's son. He raises cows up that direction, and he works in Everett. But if we could figure out how to get somewhere where we could fly people back and forth, he'd be a great Rotarian.
Welcome, Henry.
Welcome.
All right. Do we have any other guests? All right. Well, welcome to everyone. And we're really happy to have you here with us today. Moving on to club business. Do we have any announcements from the floor? No one talked to me beforehand, so I'm not sure. Nope. Oh, Travis Heisman. Yes.
Wait, where?
Get your silent auction items in, please.
Thanks, Travis. And Tim Helland.
So we've got the dictionaries here. They're in the back room. They've all been labeled now, thanks to those guys that helped out with that this morning. And I have to apologize to Mark, who went to the wrong places to find us, but he got here right at the end. So well done. Anyway, we need somebody to deliver dictionaries to Mary Purcell and Evergreen. So if you're interested in doing that, let me know. And you can pick up the dictionaries. Both of those have quite a few. So you'll need a truck or at least fairly good sized car. But yeah, you just contact the school itself, call Evergreen or call Mary Purcell, and just ask them when would be a good day to deliver the dictionaries. They usually do it in the morning, and then you can set that up with them and pick up the dictionaries and take care of it. Just let me know when you need them, and I'll meet you here and get it done. Mary Purcell, good. Okay, Josh. All right, thank you.
Can I have?
Yeah.
Okay, so the International Committee, we have been working for 4 or 5 years to try to donate $5,000 for a water tank and distribution system in Kenya. And this is Anacortes, or the Arlington Rotary Club is spearheading this within our district. It's a global grant for $140,000, and our contribution would be $5,000. And it's perking along. They kind of went back to the drawing board, and they had an actor in the group in Kenya that was not as transparent as they wanted. Partially due to my insistence for transparency, they kind of went back to the drawing board. They have a good team now, and it's coming together. So we may actually get to donate to a water project in Kenya pretty soon.
All right.
All right. Are there any other announcements, or shall we move on to the raffle? All right, let's do some raffling. And thank you very much to Carrie Carlton. She had some students work out at the high school. I'm not sure what they did to get in trouble, but they made some numbers for us. So
First number we have is number 18.
see, Lynn, those numbers were lucky.
Red wine. Here we go. Next one we have is number 35. Aldi. Oh, you bet. You bet.
Oh, yay.
Guys, come on up. Come on up, potential new member. Would you like to spin the wheel? Or you may choose one of the two wines here or the beer. Now there's $25 cash on here in some of these things. There's gift certificates. Spin them. Take the wine.
Take the wine.
Take the wine. Take the wine.
I like
Hey,
her
yeah,
already.
did that
That's
one, right?
smart. Yeah.
No, I didn't. Number 28. Who's got number 28? Mike Schweigert. Here we go. He's going to spin. And here it is. It is winner pays $2. You're right, Mike. You weren't as smart. That's right. You should have taken the sure thing. All right. Number 22 is our last one. Who's got number 22? Did you get two today? Oh my gosh. How does that happen? Another bottle of wine. That's the way it is.
All right.
All right. That's all.
All right. And for all the new folks in the room, so just always take the wine. That's my advice. If you, yeah, I mean, it is no fun, but I'll soon be a past president, and that seems to get to pay a lot. So I'm just saying, take the wine. That's a smart move. All right, Daryl, Sergeant Arms.
Ready for Sergeant at Arms? All right. We'll
Absolutely.
start off today with a fine for somebody who didn't show up on time today, and her guests had to be entertained while we were waiting for her, Joellen. That's a couple bucks. It's all right. It's all right. Oh, so staying with the educational theme that we kind of started earlier, we're gonna do a quiz today. I'm gonna quiz you on your knowledge of the Washington State counties and county seats. Now, those, if you think back a long time ago, you probably learned them. So we're going to go with this group first. I'll give you an easy one. Let's go with Whatcom County. What's the county seat of Whatcom County? Bellingham. Okay, Bellingham. That was an easy one. All right, next one we're going to go with is Columbia County. Columbia County in the state of Washington. Yeah. It's on the east side. It's a little bit harder. Columbia County. I need the county seat. No, Dayton. That's $2. All right. Here we go. Well, we all know the county seat of Skagit County is Sedro Woolley, right? No. Mount Vernon. So let's go with what is the county seat of Snohomish County? Is that right? Gotta check my sheet here. It's Everett. That's right. Good, good, good. Okay. Next, we're going to go with the county seat of Kitsap County. Kitsap County. Port Angeles. It's a port. It's Port Orchard. Port Angeles is not in that county, so that's $2. Thanks, John. All right, here we'll go with King County. What's the county seat of King County? Seattle. Okay, we got Seattle now. We're going to do another one. We're going to go with, let's try Grant County. Grant County. It's Eastern Washington. What's the final answer? Which one? Grand Coulee? No, it's Ephrata. $2. All right. We're going to go with, let's see ones here. Schweigert, where'd you first start teaching? Republic. Is that a county seat? Ferry County, you're right. Ferry County, county seat is Republic. That was the easy one. Now we're going to go with Chelan County. Wenatchee is right. Good job. Well, we're going to try one more on the east side, and that'll be Benton County. Benton County. Benton County is on the east side again. There you go. Oh, no. Yeah. No. Prosser. All right, here we go. Let's see. Do we have another easy one? Can't think of another easy one. What's that? Okay, you need an easy one. Well, let's see with, how about Lincoln County? Oh, that's not that easy, is it? How about Jefferson County? That should be an easy one. Port Townsend is right. Good job, Carl. Now we're going to go with the tough one. We're going to go with Pacific County. Yeah, you're right. Long Beach is in Pacific County. Well, it's in South Bend. South Bend is the county seat there. And I think that's it. Are we going to, you want to give you guys, we got to give the people online a chance here. Do we have anybody online anymore? Okay. Online, folks, let's go with Mason County. Shelton is right. Are you looking that up on your computer? Is it fair to all concerned? No looking up. I got to give you another one. It's the truth, but is it fair to all concerned? We're going to go with, okay, how about Stevens County? Dun, 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 dun. Chris Johnson says, I don't know. All right, $2 through Venmo. All right. We want to do happy dollars. Anybody have any happy dollars? Oh, I'm sorry. Which one was it? Stevens County is Colville. Colville. Happy dollar.
So I've got a happy 5. It's always fun to come. I'll be back again in April selling you tulips.
Excellent.
Great. Other happy dollars. John.
Well, I'm just happy to be back. I got here and found out my name had been deleted from the roster on it. I think they thought maybe I wasn't going to be returning, but I am back.
Let's give Bill a hand. Glad he's out of the hospital.
Well, we called Lemley's, and so you weren't on that list. So you're back. Good. Hey, I have a new grandchild from my son Joe and his wife Bridget, and they knew it was a boy, and they had the name for a long, long time, and they said it was a family name. Well, that doesn't really help in our family, which kid it was. But they ended up naming the little baby Benjamin. So we have another Benjamin Janicki.
Congratulations.
I would like to point out that there is a Janicki in the room that remembers his grandchild's names.
I have a happy dollar for Bill for giving me regarding the attendance list and a warning that any of you else might disappear soon too when I put him back on it. So
I have a happy 5 for being with you guys again. This is 2 weeks in a row. That's a streak in baseball. And I was supposed to be in Orlando today, but I was kind of scared to make that trip Planes are landing upside down these days. And so I was sitting on the flight yesterday morning. We had boarded, and then they disembarked us because one of the pilots didn't show up. And so I thought, you know what, that's a sign. I'm gonna stay home, hang out with the family, and join you guys at Rotary.
All right,
good choice.
congratulations. Bernadette.
My happy buck for flying to Orlando next week.
Oh, Carl.
Wife and I got an email yesterday from the oldest daughter, and here in the first part of October, we have photographic proof that we will have a second grandchild. Pretty psyched.
Nice.
Congratulations. Christine.
I'll do a happy 5 for a very successful log show down in Eugene this year. Seeing my good friends David and Mary here today. And then also we brought in my dad into this world of the 70s. So he turned 70 years old on Monday, and I got to learn how to use a video editing software, and I think I did okay. So everybody that sent in videos to say a happy birthday to him, I appreciate you.
Right. As many of you know, I was the principal at the high school for from 1994 to 2000, and I know there are several people in here graduated during that time. If you graduated in Sedro Woolley High School between 1994 and 2003, stand up. Stand up.
Look at
All
the
right.
hesitation.
I'm
They're
happy
scared.
$20 for these guys. They're turned out to be fine young men and women, and I'm happy and proud of the fact that I got to be their principal.
All right. Thank you so much, Daryl, for that fine sergeant arm work. I would like to introduce our speaker, and he is currently on the phone, so I'm going to talk a little bit. He is our past district governor, and he currently is at Limley Chapel, and I think he's ready. Are you off the phone? Are you good? Okay. Come on up, David. Welcome.
Well, that was lame. Anyway, well, it's great to be with you again to what you call the greatest Rotary Club in the universe. Well, although 54 other clubs, 5 Rotaract clubs, and a couple satellite clubs might argue with you on that. But anyway, one of the privileges in Rotary is a chance to meet people from around the world. So this was a chance for a group of Rotarians from our district, 50-50, to travel to Hungary and have a chance to meet Rotarians there. It was a fascinating journey, and I hope you'll get a chance to get the flavor of what Hungary is all about. Okay, let's see if this is going to work. Oh, it does. A friendship exchange is basically an international exchange program for Rotary members, for friends and participants to take turns hosting one another and getting to know one another. One of the 7 pillars of Rotary is peace, peacemaking. And to me, these kinds of events encourage us to better understand different cultures, different ways of life, find out what we have in common, perhaps put together some grants and some service together, which we're talking about. I'll share with you something I learned today that's kind of exciting, and a better understanding of what we all share in common. So this exchange started back when I went to International Assembly. This is for district governors-elect in Orlando back in January 2003. I met some amazing people. But one of the people that I met was Elizabeth Kovacs, or as she's called in Hungary, Asibet. And Elizabeth and I connected, and afterwards we started having Zoom meetings, which we're still having. And we talked about perhaps doing an exchange with each other. So that's how this whole thing started. And a lot of it was just the opportunity to dialogue with somebody from another country and see what they're doing in the Rotary world. And so I want to introduce the members of the team. On the far left is Dr. Steve Ban, a retired pediatrician from Bellingham who actually was born in Hungary, fled in the 1956 Hungarian Revolution, which I'll talk about in a minute, and knows Hungarian. So he did some translating for us. Next to him are Nick and Ying Chang. They are from the Semi-Amu Rotary Club in White Rock, and Nick is a financial planner. Next to Ying is Debbie Franz. Debbie is has a store in Snohomish for cooking oil and spices. And it's actually, I went and I couldn't believe what I actually tried to cook with, different oils. And she is with the Rotary Club of South Everett Mukilteo. Next to Debbie is Benedict Pavlagi, who is the District 1911 District Friendship Coordinator. And he is a member of one of the Budapest clubs. He was most helpful, especially the first few days, touring us around Budapest and giving us a feel for the area. And then next to me is Elizabeth. And next to Elizabeth is Janice Ellis. Janice is a retired Superior Court judge, and she is from the Rotary Club of Everett. And next to her is Stan Carter. Stan's retired and a member of the Semi-Amu Rotary Club in White Rock, Surrey. And then finally, Danielle, who's here today, played a huge role in getting this organized. She is the district friendship chair. So she's done district friendship exchanges throughout the world. When I told her we were doing Hungary, she jumped right in, helped get it organized, and really kept us to task each day with what needed to happen. So Danielle was a huge, huge help to make this go off successfully. So a little bit about Hungary. In Eastern Europe, bordered by a number of different countries, Austria, Romania, Ukraine, Slovakia, Croatia. But I want to show you what Hungary has gone through in the past almost over 100 years. Hungary was quite a bit bigger before World War I. And they had a relationship with Austria. It was called the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. Unfortunately, at the end of World War I, Hungary lost a lot of land. They created out of this area Czechoslovakia. A lot of the land went to Romania, including Transylvania. Some of it went to then Yugoslavia and now Croatia. And they even had ports along the Adriatic Sea. So it became a much smaller country. Hungary is half the size of the state of Washington. So it's not a big country. It's got about 9 million people in it. Washington has about 7 million, but still it's a small country. Now, what happened in World War II was everything was going fairly smooth for the Hungarians until in 1944, Adolf Hitler decided to invade Hungary and deal with the final solution, as he called it. So it started out with people lined up on the Danube River. They were told to take off their shoes. They were shot and the bodies dumped in the river. If you were Jewish. This is a memorial reminding Hungarians of what the Jews went through during that time period. But then after that, the Hungarians were put into cattle cars and shipped straight north to Auschwitz and Birkenwald. It's ironic that Steve Ban's mother was one of those that was shipped off to Auschwitz and was one of the rare people to survive. Her story is she was told, that was basically factory work. She was making ammunition. What she started to do with a few others quietly was sometimes make the bombs not go off because of how she was wiring things. So she helped plant a lot of duds in helping the Allies. After World War II, she was able to come home after a time in Auschwitz. Now, the Hungarians were, oh, and this is some of the damage that they caused. On the left is a picture I took of what's called the Chain Bridge and the castle. In 1945, before the Nazis left, they destroyed a lot of Budapest. The bridge was totally wiped out. And if you see more carefully, the back of the castle and those buildings were destroyed. So now the Soviets come in 1945 and the Hungarians go, yeah, we're liberated. Not so. What happened is, whereas the Nazis focused on the Jews, the Soviets focused on all religion. So all religion was banned. A lot of books, teachings were banned. It had to come under communist authority. Land was taken. You own land, forget it. The communists took it to make it theirs, common land. And so a lot of homeowners lost everything. And so it became a tough time. And if you disagreed with the Soviets, which a lot of people did, you either shot or died in prison. The middle is, I went through a museum called the House of Terror. Very, very sad about what the Nazis did, but especially what the Soviets did to torture people, which on the right-hand slide you can see, and some of the cells they stayed in. Hungary only became independent in 1989. So if you think about it, Hungary has only been independent for 35 years. Rotary had to stop during the Nazi and Soviet times and then was able to rebuild after that time period. Another memorial that really struck me was the 1956 Hungarian Revolution. This is in front of the Parliament building in Budapest, where students protested over the fact they were being limited by what they were learning. They wanted to be able to read more. They wanted to study more. They wanted to critically think. And so they protested, and the Soviets put up guns on the building across the way and just shot them. That started the revolution. At first, the Hungarians were able to get the Soviets out for a few weeks. And unfortunately, the Soviets came back and really put the screws to the Hungarians. So you can see in this memoriam that, you can't see it very well, but there are gunshots, bullet holes that have been put in that. And the other on the right is the Parliament building, where they've left some of the holes from the bullets from the revolution, just to remind people what it was all about. Enough of the history. I want to talk about some of the visits we had in Hungary. Our first visit was to Szeged, third largest city in Hungary. And one of the things that I found in Budapest and the nation was transportation was easy to get around. You didn't need a car. I mean, there were cars, but between the subway system, buses, trams, trains, you can get around. And if you're lucky like me, being over 65, all you have to do is show your passport. It's free transportation, and they were well used. So the train system was very organized. The train stations were huge. And so this is how we traveled a lot as a team to some of the cities. So we went to Szeged, met with a couple of Rotary clubs in Szeged, had a chance to share ideas and what they're doing. And along the way, one of their exchange students named Camden was there. He's a piano player and loves music. And he was delighted to meet people from the United States and Canada who spoke fluent English. But he was having a great experience, life-changing experience, by spending a year of his life in Szeged and in Hungary. The architecture throughout the nation just blew me away. This is a synagogue in Szeged. The kind of features, the details to the frescoes on the walls, the paintings on the ceilings, just impressed me to no end. I couldn't believe the detail that was done. And then this is nearby is the votive church. Same thing. It was incredibly ornate. You walked in and you felt a real sense of awe, which is what Gothic architecture is meant to do. And it was like this, my goodness, God is here. I'm small, but God is here. but to see the kind of painting that was done on the walls, the ceilings, just impressed me. One of the things then we did in Budapest is we visited what was called the Ukrainian Refugee School. These were children who had a parent who probably came to Budapest to escape the war. Most of these children had a parent left in Ukraine. They did not want to learn Hungarian. It's a very tough language. They wanted to keep learning Ukrainian. And so this school was set up primarily by Rotarians. The education system doesn't give much money to programs. And so the Rotarians, we met a couple of LDS missionaries who were there that were supporting it. And it was a lot of private funding that kept this school going. So we met some in the upper right-hand corner, 11th graders, or excuse me, lower left-hand corner, 11th graders, upper right, 6th graders, and the lower right, 2nd graders. The 11th graders spoke fluent English. It was very impressive. The 6th graders were learning, the 2nd graders, it was still Ukrainian. They were delightful children, but they don't have much supplies. They've got a few books, but there are no computers. And so they're looking at maybe a global grant to try to provide tablets for the children and computers for the teachers. Oops, I hit the wrong button. Come on, there we go. We then visited 2 of the larger clubs. There are about 40 members each, the Budapest City and the Budapest Academia Club. They met in the evening in kind of the western side of the city. And we had a chance to share our presentation. We had a PowerPoint that we shared. And then there was also a chance for us to listen to them in terms of their projects. And this club, especially with Victoria, who is in the right-hand slide, very instrumental in helping the Ukrainian refugee school. Education, medical supplies, and healthcare were the major things I saw of Rotary clubs there. We visited Zolnok. In Zolnok, again, you're going to see on the right, I don't know if you can see it very well, the statue is after World War II. It really shows kind of the feeling of Hungarians. They felt defeated. Oops, wrong. And so, but we had a chance to visit this Rotary Club. The district governor-elect is Julia Molnar. And she is handing out, we exchanged a lot of banners of which you've seen already passed around today. I had a banner from my club and so did other Rotarians. So we exchanged with Julia. And on the right is her husband, who was the chef, made a great goulash soup that was delicious. We also in Zolnok met Noemi, who actually, and it's kind of odd, is a female general manager of a plywood factory. And out of this talk, Stan Carter has now got in touch with a plywood company in British Columbia to do some partnerships, which I'm really excited to hear. But we had a chance to tour the factory with Noemi. I found it kind of interesting because no one had protective ear gear, eye gear, or shoes. And half the workers were Filipinos. They were there for 2 years to, I guess, gain income. They had a green card, and then they were going to go back home. I found that to be rather interesting. Another club, it's kind of outside Budapest, is Gudulu. Gudulu, it was actually a satellite club of one of the Budapest clubs, and they graciously met us at the train station. They have a library there, a free library at the train station. We had a wonderful dinner with many of its members in one of the homes. The woman that I'm with in the right is a wine critic and writes in magazines, Hungarian magazines, about different kinds of wines. We also saw what they were doing is a special needs and autism school, 2 different schools that Rotarians were funding because they were getting no help from the government. And so some of the needs that Rotary clubs are doing, which made me very proud, is they are really supporting education and trying to help children learn how to read, critically think, and especially with special needs, adults and children, provide good resources and help for them. Then after the next day, we came back to Gudulu because they were being chartered as the newest Rotary Club. And a chartering isn't just, okay, you get this banner, congratulations, welcome to the Rotary world. It was a celebration. And so on the far left is the current district governor, Anna Marie. The middle was the club secretary. And on the right, Elizabeth, the past district governor, was talking to the club members. And they did an amazing, they had dancing, they had a magician, and then each club came up forward to share their banner and congratulate them for being in Rotary. There were clubs not only in Hungary, but in Austria who came the distance to help celebrate this. So one of the things we don't do much in America, I think, is celebrate new members and new Rotary clubs. And this was amazing. And the other thing that touched me was they knew we were coming. And so they wanted to make sure they did dance, the magic show, music, because they knew we didn't speak Hungarian. We visited the Budapest Széchenyi Club, which actually met in the hotel we were staying in. And I was fascinated by the president pro tem that day because she does medical research. And that is a lot of what this club funds, is helping find research in terms of cancer. In the bottom left-hand corner are two exchange students they have, a young lady from Mexico and a young man from Brazil. Again, they were thoroughly enjoying their year in Hungary. We then made a visit to the Budapest St. Gellert Club, and we met at an ambassador's home, Peter Kraft, who is a former ambassador, Hungarian ambassador to Peru. His office was amazing. 250 oil paintings on the wall. We were greeted as guests with champagne and, of all things, hors d'oeuvres like caviar. I'd never had caviar. I'll take a steak any day. But anyway, it was an amazing opportunity to visit with them. The man on the left actually was one of the people who helped form the Rotary Youth Exchange Program that got started. And then on the far right is Peter Kraft, the ambassador with Daniil. What's interesting is this club has four former ambassadors to other countries, 2 from the United Kingdom and 1, I think, from Argentina. So they were really well schooled in kind of the political things going around them, but also wanting to make sure they're giving back to the community and making education and healthcare strong. Just more pictures. And then to top it off, they brought in a couple of musicians who, one was a junior master violinist and then one junior master pianist. Amazing music. And then to top it off, they brought in a senior master violinist. And we were just enthralled by the details of stringing a violin and plucking and some of the things they did that made music really, really special. We then went to Zentis, which is again south of Budapest, and this is Elizabeth's club. We met with 4 Rotary clubs, and this is the Zentis Hunting Club where we met. It just so happens Elizabeth's husband is a big-time hunter, mostly bird, pheasant. I'm over on the right doing our presentation to the clubs. And then just some pictures of Zentis. In the bottom left is a former district governor. In the middle is Elizabeth with her husband, George. George is actually the owner of a co-op farm. I was impressed seeing the pictures, very modern. It seemed ahead of its time with some of the irrigation, some of the watering, some of the other things that they did to have successful crops to give. And then on the right, Steve Ban is talking to a group of 8th grade students in a Protestant school in Zentis. And what was interesting was it was an English class, but they were, they wanted to hear somebody in Hungarian. So Steve got up there and dialogued, which they better understood than me. And our final visit was the Rotary Club of Budapest, I never can pronounce this right, Margaziget, a small club who, again, really believes in giving And one of their focuses, again, healthcare and education. A little bit about Budapest, a fascinating city because it's a combination of three cities, Buda, Óbuda, and Pest, who in 1867 kind of merged together to form Budapest. The Danube River is right in the middle. The hilly side where the castle is that we spent some time touring is on the Buda side. More people live on the Pest side. That's the flat side, and that's where we were staying, and that's where the Parliament building is. We also had a chance to meet one of our former exchange students from Hungary, Vinci, who was in Chilliwack, BC last year. It was great to talk to him. Coming back, he said, this experience in British Columbia, this exchange, changed my life. I really am eager to do more things throughout the world. So after he graduates, I think we may see him back in British Columbia, Washington, but was really enjoying his senior year of high school. It was great to see him. These are pictures of the castle on the hill, and then looking across the way is the Parliament building in Budapest. And then inside the Parliament building, just the architecture just was fascinating. Again, very ornate, very detailed. Even the number of steps have symbolism in Hungary to numbers and what's going on. And what's interesting is that there was a crown. I couldn't take a picture of it. That was one area that was sacred, that no pictures were allowed. But it's a silver crown and other ornaments. And during World War II, the Hungarians snuck it out, actually got it to American Army Corps people who then got it to Fort Knox. It stayed at Fort Knox until 1978, when Jimmy Carter decided he would release it, not to the Hungarian government, but the people of Hungary, which was kind of a slap in the face of the Soviets then. So they've got it well guarded, well protected. And again, it was very fascinating to see. And then we did go to Lake Balaton, west of Budapest, which is a real summer resort area. And we visited an abbey there, which again, the architecture, the detail, the bronze, the gold, the paintings on the ceilings just blew me away. It really made you feel close to God. And finally, one of the things in Hungary and including Budapest are the thermal, or they call it Turkish baths. So I did go to this one, which is in walking distance from the hotel. They had 15 pools indoors, 3 large pools outdoors, very clean, very comfortable. And I sat in that water for a while, and man, it felt good. And look who I found there. In Budapest, wouldn't you know, I found one of your members, Becky Eldy. She texted me and said, I'm in Budapest. You're there too. So Danielle and I met her for lunch with her husband, and we met at the Grand Market in Budapest and had a wonderful time. So do you have any questions? Yes. Thank you. Thank you. You know, and I have to be honest with you. In my growing up, I thought, who wants to go to Hungary? But once I met Elizabeth and we had a chance to do that, it's like, yeah, I can't afford to, but I'd love to go back. Because, you know, some of it was the architecture amazed me. What was the people? You know, I couldn't believe how people were accommodating, friendly. Yeah, on the outside, they're not, you know, going to warm your heart, but they were really gracious to us. And we had a great stay. I think the one thing that made new taste buds for me was their chicken paprika. Paprika is grown in Hungary, and it brought a new flavor to chicken that I'd never had, and it was delicious. But if you go there, the beers, there's only a few beers that they serve. Wines are pretty common. Spirits are American. So not too much to note there. Carl? English is taught in the schools. So most of them know some English, but it is Hungarian, which is kind of an odd language because it's different than Russian, Ukrainian, Polish, you know, other things. It's very distinct. Yes, Daniel.
Just wanted to add on a couple things. When David showed you the pictures of the synagogues that we went into, Steve was born in Szeged. And so we visited with the rabbi, who was also the cantor. And when he took us into the main synagogue, we went up behind the altar. They have these beautiful doors. They open them up, and that's where the sacred Torahs are kept. And I looked at Steve when we left and I said, somehow I think that people that come to the synagogue don't get to do that. He said, you're right. But I also wanted to tell you, Steve's mom, Noemi, was a Holocaust survivor. She came years ago and talked with Kiwanis in Mount Vernon. She came to my club in La Conner and told her story. She's now passed on, and Steve is continuing her legacy. So at some point, if you're looking for a program, he's going to come to our club, I think, in April. And he also has a program he could do for you and how their family escaped from Hungary during the revolution. So just some ideas if you're looking for something.
Good. Yes, Carl? Yes, they're going to be coming over in mid-September. Chris? We can. Danielle, maybe talk to Danielle afterwards because she's done like Thailand. What are some of the Philippines?
We had a team here from 30 years ago. I was not involved at that point, but our team was there. There was one from Ireland at one time. I'm now looking for some for next year, but I don't have anything on the schedule yet. What happens when we get ready to do one is I have a blanket email sent out to the district that tells you we're putting together a team, this is where we're going, these are the dates that we're on. Get your application in, and I take them in the order they're received, making sure that I have both the U.S. and the Canadian side so that we have people from both sides of our district included.
So this is more of a friendship exchange instead of a study.
Right, right. Yes.
Something technical. So GSD is in and of itself no longer exists. But on a friendship exchange, Rotary doesn't pay any part of that, and you pay your own expenses. You're normally home hosted. In our case in Winnipeg, one of their members has a hotel and they have an agreement with Rotary International because they host so many events in Winnipeg. Our lovely room costs $2 a night. So we paid in the hotel. It's one of the little bit of a flavor that is not being able to have the visiting with families and get a little more freedom. Marvelous.
The hotel was $48 a night. Very nice accommodations. Yeah. How long does it take to fly?
I'd say about 14 hours. I mean, we took a nonstop. Going out took a nonstop from Seattle to Istanbul. In Istanbul, that was 12 hours and about 2.5 to Budapest. Others from BC went from Vancouver to Frankfurt, and then Frankfurt to Thank you all very much.
Awesome. All right. Well, if there are no further announcements, we'll adjourn the meeting for the day. Please help clean up